Friends, today is Wednesday, the 9th of September, and it's the feast of St. Peter Claver, one of the saints represented in our beautiful stained glass windows here in the cathedral, one of the saints of the Americas, who referred to himself as the slave of the slaves. And the opening prayer today recognizes that. It says, "O God, who made St. Peter Claver a slave of slaves, and strengthened him with wonderful charity and patience as he came to their help." And the gospel today, from the Gospel of Luke once again, moves us into a challenging, contradictory kind of thing, I would call it. It's the Beatitudes in the Gospel of Luke. You know, we're mostly familiar with the Beatitudes in the Gospel of Matthew. Blessed are those who are this and this and this. And Luke takes those Beatitudes and boils them down into just the most basic components. Where Matthew would say, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," Luke simply says, "Blessed are the poor," meaning the poor. Not anything in spirit, but poor people. Blessed are the poor. And goes on, "Blessed are you who are hungry. Blessed are you who are weeping. Blessed are you when people hate you." How contradictory those things are, the very things we don't want. And yet, Jesus says, happy, blessed are you when this happens to you. It's difficult to think of a poor person and to say, well, happy, blessed are you. Poor in material things, who has nothing, or is hungry, or is thirsty, or is without clothes, or so on. All of that. And yet, somehow, in the contradictory way of the gospel, Jesus says, blessed, happy are you. It says, rejoice and leap for joy. Rejoice and leap for joy on that day. Behold, your reward will be great in heaven. You know, I suppose that it's easy for us who have everything to say something like, well, blessed are you poor. I know it sounds a bit condescending when you have everything, and you should be happy, you poor, you hungry, and so on. That is a challenge. That is a challenge for us. And the challenge is, of course, to see to the needs of people. But what Jesus is really getting at is, blessed are you who are detached, who do not depend upon material things, who depend solely on the Lord. And one can do that even when he or she has many possessions, but it's a challenge. Easy for us, as I say, who have everything, to say, yes, oh, the happy poor, the happy hungry. No. In some ways, yes, but we need to attend to their needs. But we too, who have everything, are happy when we detach ourselves, when we're not dependent on all the things that surround us. Having all the food, all the drink, all the pleasures, all the drugs, everything. But to remember the poor, even as St. Peter Claver, who was a great saint in South America, in Cartagena, who served the slaves, the African slaves who came in, who had nothing, and he was there for them. And because of him, perhaps they were happy. Someone cared for them. You know, in the commentary I was reading this morning, dealing with these Beatitudes of the Gospel of Luke, there was a quotation, a wonderful quotation from St. John of the Cross about detachment. St. John of the Cross about detachment. I'm going to read that before I conclude here, because it deals with the importance of letting go of all the things that we need, following, well, Peter Claver and so many other saints.